Hello, dear friends. It is the Crossroads Eagle in the air, and we are happy to welcome our good friend, our longtime friend in many, many projects. And as well, it is a homeowner reform advocate, actually, homeowner association advocate. Why do you want to reform this existing situation? I can guess that's because something happened to you. Please let our listeners know what happened, particularly with you, Jeffrey.
Yes, so thank you for having me. The reason why I guess I consider myself an HOA reform advocate is because I have been working to create more accountability and reform the way HOAs operate, specifically in North Carolina, but I'm working with groups outside of North Carolina as well. At the moment, the way the HOAs operate is they bypass going in front of a judge. They use a process, a non-judicial foreclosure to bypass uh, hearing evidence in front of a judge. So that happened in my case. So I own a home here in Charlotte for many years. And in 2022, the association, the HOA, assessed a fine that they claim they hosted a hearing, but I was not aware of that. So when I found out about it, I they were adding monthly fees, and the amount that they were requesting was $1,300.
And it started all like from $100, and it all was about you parking a vehicle on your own driveway, of a nature of the vehicle, something like that.
Yeah, so it started in 2022 when they claimed I had a commercial vehicle in my property. I've always have the vehicle that they're referencing, and since I moved in the house, so since 2007, I've had the same vehicle parked in the same driveway, and it's a personal vehicle. So I reached out to them. I wanted to understand what do they consider commercial, but the reason for fines for other homeowners could be something different. But what happens is once they issue that initial fine, they keep adding monthly fees, and that makes it almost impossible for someone to pay it all. But they, in a way, they force you to it because either you pay them or they take you to court and you spend more money on it. So that's what happened in my case. The extortion was you either pay us $1,300 or we're going to take you to court and sell your house. So they actually did that. I did not pay them the $1,300, and we ended up in court. A clerk, not a judge, a clerk issued an order to sell my house. And so I had to appeal that decision. And at that point, I had to engage an attorney. So I had to spend a lot more money to fight this case. But the reason why I did that is because there are other people in the same situation. And I wanted to use my case to highlight that this is happening. And so I've been very vocal about it, creating awareness of it, because I want to change the law so that no one else has to suffer through the same injustice that I went through.
It is actually very alarming that some kind of organization that is supposed to help homeowners actually trespasses its power and throwing on you a threat to foreclose your house over $100. Is it real in the United States?
Well, yeah, and it's not just any organization. It's a group of your neighbors. The HOA board is made up of neighbors. So some people that live in my neighborhood believe that that was the right thing to do, and started the whole process. It's an elected. It's not paid. It's voluntary, but it's made up of neighbors.
Oh, it's a good neighbor, just like Old Testament is saying, right? You're supposed to love your neighbor. Hello, Moses. But this has really become a critical situation for someone like you, an immigrant from Guatemala that is pursuing American dream, and now this American dream, having your own home. And I'm aware that you live in a quite beautiful neighborhood, safe and sound, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation when you can lose a home over a fine. What did you do? Tell us, please.
And so like I mentioned, I engaged with an attorney. The attorney started submitting evidence, and we actually had this started in 2022 with the initial fine. We are now in 2026. So in January 13th, a couple of days ago, we actually had a hearing in front of a judge. We appealed the decision, and we had what is called a de novo hearing, which basically means it's a fresh start. This would have been the first opportunity that my attorney would have to present the evidence to show that I didn't owe the fine, that the lien that was placed on my home was illegally placed on the home, and that
Mhm.
the foreclosure process that they used was incorrect. And it's been almost 4 years. It's been very stressful, and the day of the hearing, it lasted less than around 3 minutes. All the
Three.
association, yes, all the
Oh,
association did was basically said, we want to dismiss the case. And
that is amazing.
I interpret that as we have our evidence is not as strong to prove the case, or that we have no case, so they just dismissed it.
And that is a real court that you went to, like court.
Yes, it was district court in front of a judge, a room full of people. In the process of the last 4 years, I've been talking to neighbors, friends, other people across the state that have been having the same issue, and they were there to support me. And so we had a courtroom full of people, and we were surprised with the approach that the other side took.
It's amazing. So your case can be used as an example of how to handle inappropriately functioning HOA, because in our state uh, the laws are actually in favor of HOA, right? And isn't it what you are trying to do right now, to change those laws that empower them so much?
Yes, and what I'm trying to do is create more accountability and transparency with when it comes to HOAs. I am not opposed to having HOAs. I'm not opposed to the HOA assessing fines if they believe that's what needs to be done. But I do think that we should have due process. Like if they assess a fine, I should have an opportunity to present my side to say, no, you don't have to. It's like both sides should be heard, because we have had due process since 1215, when the Magna Carta was signed. Except if you live in an HOA. If you live in an HOA, you don't have an opportunity to provide evidence and defend yourself.
Isn't it amazing how empowered are HOA by existing law currently in North Carolina? And it's my understanding that you are trying to fight exactly that. Please tell us more about it.
Yes, in North Carolina, there is two ways in which a homeowners association can start a foreclosure proceeding, and so that is the non-judicial foreclosure, which is heard in front of a clerk, not a judge, but it's almost like they bypass hearing the case in front of a judge, and they go to a on a different avenue. The other process is the judicial foreclosure, and that's when you actually have a hearing in front of a judge. That's where you have the opportunity to present evidence when there's testimony heard. It's a more of a formal manner. And so, what I want to do to reform HOA laws is uh, have only the proceeding which you can do it in front of a judge. And so what I did is I started a website called saferhoa.com. And on that website, people can hear other stories, they can read information, they can learn about legislation that's right now being heard in the state of North Carolina. And for the people that maybe have questions about what does Safer HOA mean or stands for, that means stand against fraud, extortion, and retaliation in homeowners associations, because that is what happens. I found out that there's a way, a pattern that they use for foreclosure. So the first step is when they assess the illegal or illegitimate fines, and they use that as a base to start a foreclosure proceeding.
Mhm.
The second step is they reject your assessment. So then they said, you owe us the fines and we won't take your assessments. We'll send it back or we will apply it to the fines. And that's when they create this fake or false default that they make you be in default on purpose. And then the third step is when they apply pressure through the non-judicial foreclosure, the process that is not in front of a judge, and they use that to because they know it's quick and dirty, and it makes them faster for them to take somebody's home.
Quick and dirty. And
That's my
neighbors do that
description
to
of it.
neighbors. Yeah, well, I listened to your speech. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there in the court due to some health issues. But I did hear your speech, and one of the highlights, I think, was "Not today, Satan." Quick and dirty. That's how you close it up. No, not today, Satan. That was brilliant. So the bottom line is that the state of North Carolina, a great state of beautiful North Carolina, has to actually take a little bit of a different approach to empower homeowners associations to actually protect its members instead of ruling and bullying. Basically, being like a little government, and the government, as we know, needs to protect people, and people shouldn't be afraid of the government. Is that comparable?
That's correct. HOAs in the state of North Carolina operate as a private government. And the reason why my case is important is because not many families make it this far. Most people give up and they end up paying the extortion instead of fighting the case, because it's been 4 years. It's 4 years of going back and forth, going to court, receiving notices, not knowing if someone's going to take you home. So it's been 4 hard years. But in during those 4 years, I did research. I learned about the process. I went from being a victim to being an expert in the topic. So now I want to share that information with other people. And I want to make sure that the laws are changed so not more people go through the same process.
Well, if you are an expert, it's time to write a book, isn't it? How to
I,
how to fight your own neighbors, right? That want you to fail and give them your home. What is it?
and,
Unbelievable.
and
Unbelievable. But
I don't
congratulations.
discard it. So I don't discard it. Maybe it's sometime in the future. But there are things that we can do as homeowners, especially pretty soon. The laws are changed in the state when they have the support of our elected official, of our representatives and senators at the state level. And so North Carolina has a primary in March. It's early March. That's when anyone who's running for office or re-election are going around and campaigning, having those events with people, regardless of the political party.
Mhm.
So what I suggest we do is, if we are ever in a room with a member who's running for office or re-election, is ask him a simple question: is will you support meaningful HOA reform in North Carolina? That
You
answer would
hear
tell
that,
us a
guys?
lot.
You hear that, guys? Will you support such reform? Please write us in your comments what you think about it. But most important, we have in the description a website. Please click on it, read, educate yourself, and please share this information. Share our video because also many, too many people suffer from HOA, Homeowners Association despotism. So we are really looking forward to see how it will develop, and we will be happy to help. Do you think that this project will meet a bipartisan support?
It is the last time there's been 2 years, 2 years in a row that the projects have been proposed, like a legislation has been proposed. Last year in 2025, the HOA reform bill passed in the Senate, but it never made it to the committee to vote to make it to move along. So it died in committee, and so that's why it's important
Yeah.
that we elect people that are in support of an HOA reform bill. And it's important because what I described as far as the process, that's not justice. That's not enforcement. That is coercion. That they designed it a system in a way that many people can't survive going through that process, and they ended up paying the extortion to the HOAs.
Well, we already had distinguished guests to help Irina's law to be adopted, the law that was dedicated to make more strict rules towards criminals in Greater Charlotte and North Carolina. So maybe that would be another way of helping that law to become a reality.
That could be one way to do it. We can continue to advocate for reform, and the other thing too that's important to highlight is this affects disproportionately immigrant communities, people that are not aware of the laws,
Absolutely.
and that's why it's important that we share this information. If someone is going through a early stages of a foreclosure, a dispute with their HOAs, there are more people that have gone through that can share their experiences, and so we can always learn from others. And the most important thing is to know that we can win. My case proves it. After 4 years, we won.
Congratulations to you on that. And we definitely know some people that suffer and do not know what to do because for them, the situation looks like the doors are closed everywhere and no one cares. And it's difficult to engage other neighbors to form that group that will fight for their own rights. And your case, obviously, is absolutely inspirational for those people that lose it, lose hope.
Yes, and it sometimes is the neighbors may be afraid to support, because something that happens is HOAs will retaliate against them. So they would send them notices and violations just because they are supporting someone who's fighting a case against them. So that's something that we should not allow to continue. And that's the R from the website, the retaliation part, because we should not be punished by asking questions of the HOA, for asking for documentation about what happened in a meeting. All of those should be open to the residents so that we know exactly what is happening, and that there is transparency in the operations of the HOA.
It's a great news that you are able so well to articulate your own situation and also the possibilities for others to stand up for themselves. It's amazing, Jeffrey, you're making a history in North Carolina and maybe a precedent if it will take place, and I'm sure it will. It will be example for other states. Who knows? Congratulations to you, and Thank you so very much for being our guest today. It is Crossroads Eagle, Tatiana Celine, and our guest, Jeffrey Baldwin. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.